We're looking at some of the most notable political speeches that never got delivered. Those second speeches provide insight into what could have been had history gone down a different path. Jeff Nussbaum is a former senior speechwriter for President Biden. He also wrote for Vice President Al Gore. On election night, he was holding three different speeches in his hand that Gore never delivered. His new book is called Undelivered: The Never Heard Speeches That Would Have Rewritten History. And he joins us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Morning. Good to be with you.
So just to clarify, presidents need multiple speeches just because they don't know what's going to happen and you can't wait to write them, correct?
Yeah. Well, yes, certainly. That Gore example, he had a victory speech, a concession speech, and then strangely enough, we thought he would win the Electoral College but lose the popular vote. That's election night 2000. None of those speeches got given.
Let's talk about some of these famous speeches that we can't imagine having gone the other way, namely the Martin Luther King March on Washington speech, so famous, but he had another one. Talk about that.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite chapters because I pair Martin Luther King and John Lewis, and each of them wanted to give fierier speeches than they did give. Dr. King's advisors wanted him to give a speech that they entitled Normalcy Never Again. In other words, a lot of Southern Democrats actually were saying, we can make some progress on civil rights when things return to normalcy. There will be normalcy never again. And John Lewis, who was the youngest speaker that day, wanted to basically say, we're going to march through the South and burn Jim Crow to the ground, non-violently, but burn it to the ground. And so one of the things I show in this book, there's this very dramatic moment where each of them are kind of changing their speeches. Dr. King changes his on the fly. John Lewis changes his behind the Lincoln Memorial, where instead of hearing about the nightmare, Americans finally get to hear about the dream.
What was the Eisenhower speech that was not delivered?
Well, so this is a tradition Eisenhower had of writing an apology for every engagement in battle that he sent troops into. And so he had written an apology for the D-Day failure. And he wrote it very quickly, and in his haste, he misstated it. But he changes one line. He changes it from the troops have been withdrawn to I have made the decision to withdraw the troops. And I love that example, excuse me, because he gets rid of the passive voice and he very clearly takes responsibility. And it's just a great lesson in the language of leadership. It's also a great lesson that you want to prepare for any possible outcome, as Eisenhower did.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about Al Gore. Go into that a little more in depth.
Yeah, so the book is not entirely political. We have issues of war and peace. We even have an undelivered Academy Awards speech. But my first political experience was writing speeches for Al Gore, and on that fateful night in 2000, when Florida was first in Gore's column, then in Bush's, then Too Close to Call. Again, Gore gave no speech that night. And so the irony for me is I held them at one point, these three speeches, and then I lost them. So the irony is these ones are not in the book, but I'm hoping maybe the publication of the book will bring them back out of the woodwork.
Let's talk about Nixon's speech.
Yeah, so this is President Nixon really was on the fence about whether he was going to resign the presidency in the midst of Watergate. And in this chapter, I talk about the fact that we sort of think of Nixon a little bit as a villain now, but once upon a time, he was incredibly persuasive. And earlier in his career, he gave a very famous speech that basically saved his political backside, called the Checkers speech. And here, as he was nearing the end of this presidency in the height of Watergate, he again wanted to appeal directly to the American people and say, let me stay on. And it lays out this argument, and the speechwriter didn't quite want to write it, but it lays out this argument for why he should be allowed to stay on. And ultimately, he decided that the chips were against him, the votes weren't there, and he gave a different speech.
Well, we have too many to run through, but before we let you go, I want to hit maybe your favorite undelivered speech. You say it runs the gamut beyond politics. So I think you mentioned one that has a Chicago tie, Governor Altgeld.
Yeah, this part of the joy of this, I'm not a historian and I'm not an investigator, but this book allowed me to do both. And one of the chapters I uncovered was a Illinois, Chicago chapter. This is Governor Altgeld. At the end of the 1800s, he pardoned the surviving Haymarket prisoners, which unleashed this wave of anti-immigrant fervor, both against the Haymarket prisoners and against Altgeld himself, who had not been born in America. And he was denied the dignity of giving his farewell address. And in his farewell address, he basically wanted to say, look, at a certain point, partisan passions have to yield. We have to get back to the business of governing and doing right by the people we serve. And so many chapters in the book, and especially this chapter, just such powerful lessons that maybe if we would heard it, we didn't hear those words then, but maybe we could hear them a little more clearly today.
Wow, what a great idea for a book. Jeff Nussbaum, we appreciate you joining us this morning. For more, you can check him out on Twitter, and there's his website, jeffreynussbaum.com. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks so much. Good to see you guys.
You too. Time now.